By the time I stepped outside, the leaves were on fire. The brisk air of October stabbing at my face in little prickles, causing it to lose its sensation of the slightest feeling. Even as I placed my hand upon my face, it felt foreign. I felt a presence, as if something were watching me. I glanced up, looking around in the crowd of New York City, and right across the street stood a man. He wore a long peacoat, and his hands were placed in his pockets for a moment. His eyes met mine before disappearing into the crowd. I turned on my heels and began walking super fast, paced my shoulders, accidentally bumping other people who occupied the sidewalk. "Sorry," I repeated on an endless loop, like a broken record. I ducked into a nearby coffee shop, which just happened to be my regular coffee shop. I stood by the window peering out and breathing heavy. I looked around at the millions of people looking for that odd man. I heard glass break behind me, causing me to jump out of my skin. "God damn it, Joanna," the coffee shop waiter muttered. "Let me help," I offered, getting to my knees of the smooth wood floor laid out throughout the coffee shop and scooping the shards off broken mug off the floor. "Thanks," she smiled. I put the broken glass on the tray she held, and she hauled it defeatedly to the back room. The bell of the coffee shop chimed. I brushed off my blue jeans and looked over, and there stood the man in the long coat, his hand back in his pocket and his eyes glaring through my soul. I backed up waringly and he inched closer. "What do you want?" My voice shaking. He did not respond. He just continuously edged closer until I had no space to back up anymore. "I know what you did." His voice, deep, even in a whisper, made chills crawl down my spine, and his face was inches from mine. His eyes, the darkest black and soulless. He then grabbed my arm, crushing it in his hand. But no one appeared. He led me out the door and onto the crowded street. I looked around in the crowd, and everyone's focus was on their phones. No one noticed my pain, worry, and fear. "Say another word, and you'll wish you hadn't," he said, peering disgusted at me as he cut my repeated pleas for help. He slid the door of his sinister van open before throwing me in there with no remorse. He slid the door closed before I can even complain. I was clueless as to where we were gone. I could just feel the bump in the unfinished road, the pothole that almost took the wheel off, jolted me the most. Suddenly we halted to an unexpected stop. The man got out the car and I lost track of him for at least 15 seconds before he threw the door open. He once again grabbed my arm with his full might, as if his intention was to rip it off. We were at a big white building, surrounded by a big fence topped in barbed wire. He led me into a big tunnel that led to double doors with a huge guy posted up near them. "I found the last one," said the guy with the long coat on. The huge guy moved out the way of the door without uttering a single word. Inside was a hall that stretched for miles, and a bunch of closed doors throughout the hall. We walked down to the third door, opened it, and he threw me in. "Stay," is all he said before slamming the door shut. I looked around the room. In the middle was a dingy, worn wooden table with 2 chairs on either side, cameras in every corner, and above the door, a tiny red light radiated from the camera, almost too tiny to see. I tried twisting the knob only for it to reject it. It was clearly locked. So I decided to sit in the chair after a long debate of whether I would hold my way or not. I sat there for what seemed like years, but I guess was only about 30 minutes. Through the door burst a frail blonde woman. Her expression showed that she was about business. She was dressed in a navy blue suit, and underneath the blazer was a white button-down shirt. In her hand was a red folder on it, "Red Classified." Slowly, she pulled out the chair across from me in no particular rush. She slammed the folder on the table when she was finally seated and threw it open. "Riley Jefferson." "Is it?" I swallowed and nodded. She looked up at me and quickly backed down. She licked her fingers and continuously flipped through the pages. Her flipping went on for ages before she finally looked up and said, "It's time to take you to the room." I couldn't even process what she said before the guy in the long coat grabbed my arm and yanked me out of the room like I was a rag doll. Before I could protest, we were standing in front of a bright red door. The woman was behind us. "Openit," she shouted eagerly. The man reached out, slowly, put his leather-gloved hands on the knob, and the door creaked open. Out flooded a fluorescent light. When I could finally see again, there were 6 other humans in there, trembling as the woman and man entered. They had numbers 1 through 6 on them. Their hands were cuffed in front, and they were dressed in black and white stripes, as if they were prisoners. They were all around the same age, mid-20s. Number 1, Caucasian, short blonde woman with huge blue eyes. Number 2 was an African-American man, around 6 feet or taller. He had a square jawline, and his hair was overly grown, probably from being in here too long. Number 3 was a woman with fire-color curls and dark eyes. Her face always appeared between scrunched and fearful. Number 4 was a Mexican man. His hair was back in one braid, and he was barely taller than number 1. Number 5 was a woman with a bob cut evenly around her head. And finally, number 6 was a beautiful woman with frizzy brown curls and caramels. She had a personality showing that they weren't going to break her. They all stood in line, based on their number. I was thrown in line, and a jumpsuit was forced into my hand. The woman and man then turned on their feet and slammed the door shut, and my freedom went with it. Story 2. A few changes to the menu. Red Eye Cafe, located at 1587 E Main Street, in the heart of Central Ohio. Thank you for signing up for our newsletter. As you know, we at the Red Eye Cafe are dedicated to keeping our customers happy. Before I talk about the changes coming to our menu to celebrate the harvest season, I'd like to thank those of you that participated in our summer selection drinks. The Bikini Mama and the White Claw Bro were by far 2 of the more popular drinks released for the season. We hope you'll find these new additions to our menu just as exciting. As you may know, Red Eye Cafe has been around far longer than most of the restaurants on this side of Main Street. We have gone under many different business names as ownership made their changes. When we were Bob and Kathleen, we ran under the name Full Moon back in the early 1940s. Since then, Martin and Clara took over and opened Crimson Coffee in 1975. After Martin and Claire were retired, you were presented with your happy hosts, Calvin and June, who opened Red Eye Cafe, serving only the finest local coffee and pastries. Our staple menu isn't changing. If you are interested in ordering a J-Chi latte, a Melody Mint mocha, or a candy scone, you'll find we always have these in stock. After all, Jay and Melody are still around to make their amazing one-of-a-kind drinks just for you. Candy may have left us recently, but we have found another young woman who happens to also be candy to delight us with a fluffy and lightly sweetened scone. Our first new drink coming onto our menu is simply named Autumn Day. Autumn Day will make you think of the first crisp morning where you notice the trees have started to turn a delightful array of colors, and all the beautiful Midwest girls in our town have started to pull out their flannel shirts. Autumn was captured, bitten, and drained in the bright sunshine of an early autumn day, and holds tones of clove and cinnamon in her deliciously warmed blood. While Autumn did not survive her first encounter with us, we were able to produce a large vat of combination Life Essence and Arabian Blend coffee. This is a limited time item. Once it's gone, it's gone. Warm flannel is another limited time item, as there were only 4 moms at the park due to the COVID-19 crisis. Bethany, Julie, Susan, and Karen will make you feel so warm and snuggly, like you are sitting underneath a Costco clearance flannel blanket while your kids played a flag football game. All 4 women were at the park that day without masks and without regard for the safety of their community. We were able to produce this warm hot chocolate-style mocha in a large batch, as well as a few white cell sugar cookies with matching red flannel icing. It's important to note that we here at the Red Eye Cafe are taking extra precaution to ensure the safety of our customers, as well as continuing to provide only the highest quality product. All 4 women were tested multiple times while being held in our roasting plant to ensure their health before they were turned into a perfectly palate-pleasing product. While we understand that you cannot die again, we do encourage all of our patrons to wear a mask while inside the facility so as to not arouse suspicion. The next drink we would like to talk about is one that we will be permanently adding to our menu. While the name may be subject to change after the month of October, we have landed on the name of Stay Spooky. You know those people who look like it's Halloween all year long. We were able to savor the feeling into a blonde cappuccino infused with an oaky flavor that will make you want to stomp in a pile of leaves. Currently, this drink is coming in 2 varieties, the Willow and the Birch. Both Willow and Birch claimed they were ready to accept their new life as a thrall to the coffee and have willingly created these beautiful concoctions for your enjoyment. The Birch keeps things lighter and airy with a heavy cream base and ginger topping, while the Willow uses dark roasted beans with a bitter yet pleasing smoked pumpkin taste. Before we introduce our last drink, we'd like to remind you about a few things that set Red Eye Cafe apart from the competition here in the Central Ohio area. We know that as immortals, the choices in drinks and dining are endless, and we'd like to thank you for your patronage here at Red Eye. We are the only coffee shop in Ohio that does infusion coffee and pastries using only the finest locals that we have to offer. Our thralls who have agreed to produce for us are considered open range by all accounts. We allow them their own comfortable homes with a supervising roommate where they can donate their time and product to us a few times a day at their convenience. On that note, we'd like to announce that our very own Desira has won Thrall of the Month for her continued contributions to our facility. Between donations, Desira has also managed to finish her college degree in paranormal studies with an emphasis in creative writing and history. Our final new menu addition is one that I simply like to call Hayride. I won't bore you with the details of this capture done by yours truly, but we can say that the roll in the hay we took before his ultimate demise was simply thrilling. By allowing him to reach a level of pure ecstasy before ultimately ending his life, the hayride brioche that resulted will leave you feeling all those same thrilling and tingling notes. To say it bubbles and pops in your mouth is an understatement. These are so decadent that even our non-immortal customers will appreciate its buttery smooth, yet flaky crust. To complete this bread, make it into a sandwich using the meats and cheese of our choice, or simply ask us to toast it and drizzle it in our signature red velvet sauce. Remember, these items are for a limited time only. Of course, we have big plans for Thanksgiving next month as well, including the return of the cornucopia drink. As a courtesy reminder, we ask that you do not disclose the secret menu as seen here in a blunt and obvious way. Remember to order these drinks by asking if the barista is in. For example, ask if the barista Willow could make your usual with a flannel cookie on the side. Stay warm, Ohio. Love, June. Story 3. By the time I stepped outside, the leaves were on fire. My mom burned down our house once again. The third one in 3 years. My mom has killed the last 3 boyfriends in the last 3 years. I don't know why she killed the last 3 boyfriends, but she did. I guess the last three was just worse than all the rest. The rest, we would just run away when things get bad. The last three put her in the hospital, so I guess she just snapped with the last three. I don't know why she keeps finding such abusive guys. She said this is the last time, it was just going to be the last time. I thought for sure it was going true this time. I was starting to believe her. It's been 3 months at this new town. We never did have this luck when I was little. Only good man my mom ever had was my dad. He died when I was 3. After my dad died, my mom was in and out of relationships. She could never be alone, town after town, ever since my dad died. I never had a great father figure in my life. I was always glad when it was just us. My mom is here self when it is just us. We have all-night movie sections. I can tell her anything when it's just us. I got 3 months this time until Billy came into our lives. He was nice at first, and my mom changed everything just for him. I didn't get close at first. I had a feeling he was going to end up like the rest of them. I was right. It took 6 months of them dating, and the abuse started. Billy, he lost his job and started drinking and took it out on my mom. I got too comfortable once again and made some friends. I just wanted to be a normal teenage girl and stay in one spot for more than a year. The bruises started to show, so I know she already had a plan to leave, but this time I wasn't going to let her get away with it, not anymore. I didn't want to run with her, not anymore. I just wanted a normal life. I can't hear the screams of the guys anymore, and I can't watch my mom get beat over again. I figured she will be safer in prison. I just can't run no more. I have friends. I want to keep my friends. I called the cops once the house started to burn. I locked myself in the car so my mom couldn't stop me. All I can remember is my mom screaming at. I watched her get handcuffed in the back of the cop car. I just remembering the screaming and the crying of my mom. I am only 14, so I ended up in foster care. I got to stay in the town and have a normal teenage life. I've been here a couple years now. The Baileys adopted me. I visit my mom was a week to keep her updated and let her know I am okay. Every visit she tells me she is sorry. I accept her apology every time. I tell her I got accepted into Harvard. I told her I planned to be a lawyer. She said, "Congratulations," and I left. I can't believe it took watching leaves burn changed my life for the good. I graduated Harvard and met my husband. We had a fall wedding. I can't believe something I seen negative became a positive. I think it's because I needed to see a positive in fall again, and what more than to do so with a fall wedding. I used to love fall before I seen my mom burn down houses and hearing her boyfriends get burned alive. Now, years and years have passed and more positive things happened in the fall. I met my boyfriend in the fall Halloween night at a college party. He was Thor and actually resembles him, so I had to meet him. I said to him in my Black Widow costume, I said, "Thor is my favorite." He told me his name is Felix and said, "Nice to meet you." That moment on it was meant to be. A Halloween wedding, got married on our first year anniversary, the very first day we met. I never thought fall would be me joy again, but here I am getting married to Felix. I thought I could never like fall again. Watching the leaves burn put me in therapy for a while. I never thought it, but I stand up in front of everyone and said I do in beautiful fall leaves in a field. I didn't see any burning leaves, no screaming. I only seen people throwing them in the air, telling us congratulations. I am happy, and fall is once my favorite season again, thanks to Felix. I can also thank my daughter. She is another reason I can like the fall again. I surprisingly had her on our wedding anniversary. Fiona, 7 pounds and 11 ounces. She black hair, blue eyes just like me. I have a perfect family, and I have my mom to thank in a way. If I didn't call, I would probably still be on the run with my mom. I know I had to call and live a normal life, and I'm grateful for it. I'm happy I love fall again, and it took that one last time. I will never watch leaves burn again, and I'm okay with it. Felix and Fiona brought me to like fall again, and now the only time I see leaves on fire is when I watch them get burned in my backyard by my husband just to get rid of them. I watch them burn right before he burns them. We play in them with Fiona, hard to believe. Now she is now one, and I watch her run in a pile of leaves, and I couldn't be any happier.